Hey guys, Cheyenne O'Bray here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have spent a few weeks just really spending time in reflection and observation and study and practicing being about it more than talking about it kind of thing. And I feel this message very strongly placed on my heart to share, so I'm back. I watched a video the other day and I'm gonna speak more about it, but it's from one of the people that I've watched along my journey. And his name is Aaron Dowdy, and he shares something really strongly placed on my heart to be true. And so I'm going to leave the link in the description below, and I really encourage you guys to watch it and watch it with an open mind and an open heart and just really listen. As some of you that follow along my YouTube channel, you know that I've been studying the 7 laws of the universe, and the last one I left off was law number 4, which was the law of polarity. And I was really in a kind of, I want to say, darker places in my journey, kind of entering to the crossroads with big decisions and spending more time trying to numb out my feelings than really feel them, and hence the drinking and the horse in the background and my slurred words, so I apologize for that. I am definitely far from perfect, and I spend, this journey really just learning, and I have always been one that kind of wears my truth on my sleeve, sort of speak, and so I'm going to share a little bit more of what I feel to be my truth. But with that, I kind of want to touch base on this a little bit, that, with the law of polarity, law number 4, everything has its opposite, my right, your left, dark, light. And it really just kind of changes your perception on the way you see things and the way you understand things, and to really understand that just because your beliefs differ from other people's beliefs doesn't mean that it's not their truth or what they feel is right. It's the flip side of the coin, sort of speak. And then we tie into law number 5, which is the law of rhythm. And this universal law states that everything vibrates and moves to certain rhythms. These rhythms establish seasons, cycles, stages of development, and patterns. Each cycle reflects the universe and divinity. Masters, which, I think self-mastery is one of the biggest things in this life that we can obtain. Masters know how to rise above negativity and the negative parts of a cycle by never getting too excited or allowing negative things to penetrate their consciousness. And there's a time for everything, a time to laugh and a time to cry, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to work and a time to rest. And you really must respect the changes in the universe and the changes in seasons. And I've been growing to understand, the real life lessons beyond these universal laws and learning how to apply them in my life. And it's interesting because the law of rhythm really ties perfectly with the law of polarity, and that is really life is a coexistence of all opposite values: joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, up and down, hot and cold, here and there, light and darkness, birth and death. All experience is by contrast and would be meaningless without the other. And that is so true. And it really helps you change your perception on things, even though sometimes we go through some not so great times like we're experiencing right now in the world today and all the chaos that we're facing. There is, a light side to that, and I definitely feel this is a time of awakening, a time of people discovering their own inner truth and breaking free from the lies that we've been programmed to believe for so long. And I truly believe if union is to take place, opposites like spirit and matter, consciousness and unconsciousness, bright and dark, and so on, it needs to happen in like a 3-phase situation, I guess is what I'm going to call this. And it needs to represent not so much compromise, because I feel like everybody wants to compromise and meet in the middle, so much as just a new way of life. Right now, our problem seems to be, the COVID coronavirus, racism, we are in a huge state of separation and division, and a lot of people's reactions to this is fears. There's riots, there's just a complete divide, and we have a few solutions. And there is a group of elite people that Aaron speaks about in his video, and these elite people, I feel, are really pushing for martial law and brainwashing people and having people live out of fear, and finding that, you know, these people really don't have our best interest at heart. And martial law, it seems to be this thing a lot of people are talking about these days. But I believe another solution could be unity, and really practicing the law of rhythm and the law of polarity, and understanding that there are so many different people in this world and so many different beliefs, and really just learning to stand in unity instead of divided. And I feel that that is going to be one of the deciding factors of what direction the seasons of change in the universe right now is going to reflect. And so I really want to share something with you. And it's interesting because I'm reading this book right now called The Voice of Knowledge that I've been sharing with you guys, little bits and pieces. I'm almost finished with it, but I was reading last night and I thought how perfect this was, because I've never been one to pay attention a lot to news and that type of thing, because I don't necessarily believe it, and I am trying to, learn that self-mastery, and I don't want to get overly excited or overly stressed about something that I literally have no control over. And so, going within, I'm like, well, what should I be doing during this time with all of these changes and everything? And as a parent, a mother of 5, I had this book kind of answer it for me, and I really want to share it with you as well, because I feel this is the most important thing that we can do right now. Love and respect are what we should also teach our children, but the only way to teach them love and respect is to love and respect ourselves. There is no other way. Again, we can only give what we have, not what we don't have. I can only share what I know. I cannot tell you anything that I don't know. My parents taught me that they learned from what they learned from their parents. How could they teach me something different? They could not do better than that. I cannot blame my parents for the programming I received. I cannot blame my teachers for the training I received in school. They did their best. It was the only thing they knew, and they passed it on to the next generation. The only chance to break the chain of lies is to change the adults, to change ourselves. Children are very aware. They learn from what we do. They learn what they see, not just what we say. We tell them, never lie to anybody. Later, somebody is knocking on the door and we say, tell them I'm not here. I've done that a few times. Whatever we do at home, the way we behave, the way we treat one another is what our children learn. If we are never home, that becomes normal behavior for them. When they grow up, they are not at home either, and their children are alone. The way we speak is the way they speak. If we curse at home, they curse too. If they receive violence, they deliver violence. If we fight and share our anger and our poison, our children learn that this is the normal way of being, and this is how they learn to write their own stories. But if there is a respect and honor at home, if there is love at home, that is what they learn. By changing ourselves, by loving ourselves, the message we deliver to our children carries the seeds of love and truth. These seeds go into our children, and these seeds can change our lives. And I definitely believe in my heart that right now is a time of planting these seeds for our children. Imagine how our children will grow up when we share with them the seeds of love instead of the seeds of fear, judgment, shame, or blame. Imagine how they will grow up when we finally respect them as humans just like us, and we don't try to break their integrity because we are bigger and stronger. Imagine when we teach our children to be secure in themselves and to have their own voice. Imagine how everything will change if we bring respect to any relationship. People have asked me why I don't work with children, and the reason is because they have parents. It doesn't matter what I tell children. It is undone by their parents. I prefer to teach parents and teachers because our children learn from them. Our future as human race depends on children. Children will take our place one day, and we are training them to be like us. Just imagine if your parents had told you a different story when you were a child. Your life story would be completely different. But you can still change your story, and if you have children, the only way to change their story is to change your own. And this is something that I've received a lot of conviction on, and I feel very strongly is my main responsibility in this life. To love is so easy, it's not work at all, but we have so much work to do, and that's the work that work is to unlearn all of the lies that we believe. Unlearning lies is not easy because we feel safe with our lies. We are very attached to them. But the more we practice seeing the truth, the easier it becomes to detach from our lies. Transforming our life gets easier with practice, and our life gets better and better. The more we love, the more we have, the more love we can share and receive. To give to one another and receive from one another is the purpose of a relationship. We don't need a lot of words. We share time with someone. What is important is to communicate with feelings, not with words. But if we want to share words, we don't need anything complicated. It's just 3 words. I love you. That's it. What makes you happy is not the love that other people feel for you, but the love you feel for other people. Once we experience love, we can't find the words to explain what we really feel. But to love is the greatest experience that any of us can have. To experience love is to experience God. It is to experience heaven right here and now. When the voice of knowledge is no longer hooking our attention, our perception becomes much wider. We start perceiving our own emotional reactions, and we start perceiving other people's emotional reactions. Then we start perceiving the emotions that come from the trees, from the flowers, from the clouds, from everything. We see love coming from everywhere, even from the people at a certain point. We are simply in ecstasy, and there are no words to explain it because there are no agreements yet about how to explain it. I really feel that moving forward as I parent, I need to continue to, be about it, not talk about it, show love in a different way. And I'm going to share something with you guys. I grew up, I love my dad greatly, and I'm sure that he was programmed to believe the way he did. I grew up in a very prejudiced home, and it's really hard to break free from that programming, but it can be done with love and understanding, and understanding, divinity in itself has really helped me with that. And I feel there is so much more to what we understand, and I believe that there are a group of people, I don't even want to empower them with the name of elite, but I believe that there is a polarity, a force going on in this universe right now, and it is light and dark. It is a force of generations and generations of programming, and we really need to learn how to break free from that and find our own truth and master our own inner peace. And with that, we can love everybody and stand in unity. And I think it all comes down to an old story that is one of my favorite stories that I've shared with the children, that I have blessed to call my own, and that is an old Cherokee tale. And that is this old Cherokee Indian told his son, "My son, there is a battle between 2 wolves in us all. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, ego, prejudice. The other is good. It's joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth." The boy thought about it and asked, "Grandfather, which wolf wins?" And the old Cherokee Indian said, "The one you feed, son." And I truly believe that we have to choose what we feed. And our actions right now are planting seeds for the next generation. And we have a choice to break this generational curse and move forward with love and unity, and to break free from the programming that we've received. And it really has to be a conscious choice. And so today I leave you with this, and I can't recommend enough to click on that link and just really listen to what Erin is sharing, because I believe in my soul it is so true, and we really need to understand that there is a force that is really trying to keep us all divided, and we really need to fight against that force with love, and that starts in our home with our children. Namaste.